Happy New Year! I'm Jake.
And I'm Alex.
And today, to mark the end of 2022,
Yikes.
feels like it just went the fuck by.
Yeah.
We're gonna be reacting to the Kill Count episode on the 1980 New Year's themed slasher film, New Year's Eve.
Ooh.
And I actually reviewed this movie over my main channel on my show, The James C. Reviews, about 2 years ago, and yeah, it's got some cheesy bits, but it's a slasher film that I really like and for the most part think is legitimately pretty well made. And I'm assuming you haven't seen it.
No, I haven't seen it. No. It'll be interesting to see this reviewer's take with the body count and ranking the body counts.
Yeah. He's never seen the Kill Count show before, and I did one reaction to them about 1.5 years ago, and they can be fun. Seems like they have a hard time embracing the sleaze and exploitation part of horror, but they're a pretty fun horror channel. So, without further ado,
dive in.
Yeah. Let's
2023.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the outcomes in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at New Year's Evil, a slasher from 1980 that's probably the least known movie I've ever covered on this channel. But hey, it's a New Year's horror movie, so why the hell not? Speaking of which, if you're wondering why I'm wearing a suit, I always wear a suit on New Year's. You gotta put your best foot forward, baby. New Year's Evil follows a punk rock
I settle
radio
for whiskey and a
personality as she hosts the New
t-shirt.
Year's countdown in Los Angeles. A killer torments her with threatening phone calls as he murders a new victim every hour leading up to midnight. Most of the movie is your standard slasher fare, but it does have a lot of early punk rock music if you're into that, and an expansive use of Los Angeles that's fun to watch if you know the city. But the main reason we all watch slashers is for the kills, so let's start counting them up as we count down to the end of the year.
It's got a smooth style to him.
Yeah.
The movie begins with Diane Sullivan, better known to her fans as Blaze, as she's getting made up like a Thundercat. Her agent Ernie is rushing her since she's got a
Played by the awesome Roz Kelly.
She calls her friend Yvonne to ask if she's heard from her husband Richard, but Yvonne says he sounded pretty loaded and probably wouldn't make it to her show tonight. As Yvonne is getting ready for the big night, someone opens her door. Should have put that sign on the outside of the door, Yvonne. She doesn't notice him though, and is instead more bothered by the dripping faucet in the bathtub. When she goes to turn it off, she's pulled behind the shower curtain by a man with a knife, fulfilling the stereotype of the black character being the first to die in horror movies.
Yeah, I made that joke in my review.
3 minutes in.
Credits play over an early metal song called New Year's Evil, which you should look up and listen to so you can understand what we're dealing with here. Let's see if I can play a clip short enough to not get flagged for copyright. We cool, YouTube? While those high notes are being belted out by
YouTube hates the songs.
Anything about online. Youths drive around Los Angeles, being youth, which of course means packing 10 people into a car and yelling at anyone that's next to them on the road. When they finally arrive at the Hollywood Hotel hosting Blaze's countdown, they unload their clown car and youth it up some more by messing with the cop who's asking them for tickets. Oh, youths. Back in Diane's room, her son Derek arrives, fresh off Mattel's new line of American Psycho. If you're looking for a guy who will provide bizarre what the fuck moments, he's your man. Here's one out of context. Yeah, what the fuck, right? Also, somewhat
in context, it's more disturbing.
Who 8 years later would play the lead in Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which will be our first kill count of the new year. So congratulations, Grant Kramer. You're both ending 2017 and beginning 2018 here on
2017.
Just landed a part of the series, but she's
half a lifetime almost.
Disaster of a dress to pay him any attention. She's all pissed because there be some weird Oedipal shit going on with this guy. She invites him to watch her show.
This gets pretty fucking out there.
You're lost, dude. You're missing out on some sweaty new wave kids hollering at your mom. The show goes live and Diane goes into full Blaze mode, announcing their jamming New Year's party is called New Year's Evil because it's edgy or whatever, and saying that they're simulcasting the party in every time zone of the continental U.S. with the nation's biggest party cities. Eastern time with New York City, Central time with Chicago, and Mountain time with Aspen, Colorado? What? Okay, sure. Shoot up her ass.
Not Denver.
Blaze begins taking calls on air so people can vote on the best song of the year and request their favorite jams to be played. The second call she answers is from a dude using a voice changer who has a pretty uncreative bad boy pseudonym.
Call me Evil.
He tells her his resolution is to murder someone close to her. And because this is 1980, before nipplegate and shit, the call is played live on the air, giving Derek some concern. Blaze hangs up and Shadow starts playing that New Year's Evil song again, even though we literally just heard it less than 10
It's a great song!
Yeah, same exact song, just with more sweaty new wave kids dancing to it. The song goes on for a while, and that happens a lot in this movie. We get extended scenes with long song performances. I actually kind of dig on the jam, so I didn't mind too much. But if you're not into shit that sounds like this... You're gonna have a bad time. Evil leaves.
Well, I'm into it, so I'm having a great fucking time.
Crawford then sneaks behind an employee taking out the trash to infiltrate.
No connection to us.
Nothing more than a shitty alias and a tape recorder. The people in the sanatorium are dancing around to that same fucking song that we get to hear an extended cut of for the 3rd time. The inmates aren't acted out with much grace, but it is kind of funny when this happens. Nurse Jane, played by Tabby O'Connell, runs into Evil, who introduces
Worm
himself
Girl
as Jeff
from
Richards,
Galaxy of
filling
Terror.
doctor there to help with the holiday workload. He flirts with her, and she's pretty receptive to it, even though he looks like if George Harrison's body parts were used to create Frankenstein's monster. They go to a back room to drink champagne, and you know what? I'll give Evil some credit. I'm always scared as hell when it comes to popping corks off the bubbly, but he does it real smooth on it. Maybe that's why Jane agrees to dance with him to the slow, melodious tunes of unsearchable band Shadow, who's now playing some smooth blues that these new waivers are noisily clomping around to.
Zombies.
Backstage, Ernie introduces Diane to 2 cops, and Lieutenant Clayton wastes no time victim blaming.
Frankly, if you'll excuse my saying so, you got to expect that from the type of audience you appeal to.
Then he tells her the usual shit about keeping the creep on the line long enough to get a trace on it, yada yada, hashtag cop stuff. Diane calls Derek up in her room, even though I don't think Clayton meant to keep that creep on the line long enough, and asks him if Yvonne has shown up yet. Derek says he hasn't heard from Yvonne or his father, who he's been trying to reach, then says he has to tell his mom something important. She hangs up before he can deliver the news. What's the important thing, dude? That you've got a boner for your mom, or that you're taking 3 nondescript pills that'll have no bearing on this plot whatsoever? At the hospital, they have the New Year's celebration on TV as the countdown to midnight on the East Coast begins. Evil has advanced to the motorboating stage of his relationship with Nurse Jane, and as Times Square reaches the last 10 seconds to midnight, Evil starts recording on his cassette player and whips out a switchblade. Right as the countdown reaches midnight, he brings the knife down, stabbing Jane multiple times as the murderers intercut.
Pretty grisly.
Poor Jane.
Very similar editing to Barb's kill in Black Christmas. Nurse Jane's body is discovered a little later with all its stab wounds. Shadow kicks off another extended jam sesh that gets a mosh pit going, or as I like to call it, a push party. And when they're done thrashing around, Blaze gets another call from her favorite robotic sex hotline operator.
It is evil.
He tells her he's made his first kill.
Sounds like his email.
And plays that game for her to prove he's serious, despite his stupid sounding voice. And you know what? Even though he's an unhinged murderer, Evil may not be the most fucked up dude in this movie, because Derek gives him a pretty good run for his money. Exhibit A, him gnawing at some red pantyhose and monologuing into the mirror. I don't know, man. What makes you say that? Oh, probably sticking a pin through your ear.
Yeah.
I think you look dumb. Derek's probably all messed up because his mommy won't give him the loving he wants, so he sits there and tears apart the roses he brought for her while he watches her dance around and adjust her bra strap. Can't tell who looks dumber here, Derek or the Shadow band member smiling into the camera with a big strand of spit across him. That's
Derek.
A high-quality fake mustache to himself and strolls his debonair ass into the disco bar because this movie is a nice little time capsule of the year 1980. He picks up Sally, a blonde with a baby voice, by name-dropping Eric Estrada because he knows the ladies drop their panties over chips. Back at Blaze's rockin' New Year's Eve,
He was big in the day.
Made in Japan is in. Another band, all but lost to obscurity over the past 37 years. Their music is a little more new wave / punkish, with a highbrow catalog that includes such gems as Dumb Blondes. Yep, and again, I just gotta reiterate that
That's a fun song.
Stay out for a long time in this movie. Watching New Year's Evil is like having your horror movie interrupted by 90s era VH1 every 5 minutes. Sally spoils Evil's plans by insisting on bringing her friend Lisa along for safety. You're tearing Evil's plans apart, Lisa! He tries to adapt and go along with this, so he gets treated to a charming lesson about the benefits of transcendental meditation.
I stopped biting my nails. Lisa got rid of her nervous diarrhea. Allie, please.
Evil is way too fidgety.
TMI.
Watery diarrhea. It's almost midnight Central Time, and he's got some killing to do. Evil pulls into a liquor store and sends Lisa inside to take care of her watery diarrhea and also buy some champagne, which gives us the most stilted transaction scene I've ever witnessed in a movie.
Thank you. And Happy New Year.
That's some real fucking weird editing, man. What's with the shot of Lisa nodding somberly? While Lisa is inside having her robot conversation, Evil makes his deadline and slips a plastic bag over Sally's head as they finish counting down to the new year in Chicago. The strangling takes a while and is kind of sad. Sally seemed like a nice girl and she didn't even have
Stupid, but nice.
Lisa comes out of the store to find that the car is gone, then follows a trail of stilettos to a dumpster in the back where she opens the lid to find none other than Evil. Pulls her into
That's
the
a good
trash basket
crazy
and kills her off
face.
screen for the fourth kill of the movie. Evil quickly calls Blaze to tell her his latest victims are at the corner of Ventura and Laurel Canyon. What up, 818? And the cops arrive at the liquor store to find the two bodies. First, Sally Q. Baghead, and then Lisa W. Diarrhea, whose corpse slides down a slide with
That was creative.
That it slid down on all that watery diarrhea. Another costume change means that Evil gets to roll out under a new disguise, this time as a priest. While driving, he gets harassed by some bikers. And I'm sorry, New Year's Evil, I just don't think anyone, even badass bikers, would flip off a man of the cloth unprovoked like that. But we need conflict, so as Father Evil is fiddling with the radio stations and listening to reports of the sins he's committed, he pulls a peewee and runs into the bikes of the gang, knocking them down and pissing them off. He hightails it out of there, and the bikers give chase en masse, so Evil ducks into the Van Nuys drive-in theater to hide out for a while. The bikers follow without buying any tickets. They don't need no stinking tickets. I don't know when we started watching the killer of this movie while he's on a frickin' side quest, but I guess that's where we are now, watching Evil worry about the bikers finding him among the other cars. When he tries to abandon ship, he's cornered by the biker who flipped him off, and Evil talks his way out of that one with a switchblade to the gut. Later on, cops will mention that a biker was knifed, and since they don't say he was killed, I don't think I can add him to the count. I'm pretty sure they mentioned it specifically if he was dead. Sorry,
I count him.
Still at 4. Meanwhile, there's some goober necking with his sweetheart in the back of a car until Evil pulls him out of it and yells in his face. He hijacks the car, conveniently kidnapping another victim, just in time for the Rocky Mountain New Year, which, as the party animals of Aspen let us know, is only 5 minutes away at this point. The girl pleads for her life to Evil, offering money, which does nothing for him, and sex, which makes him take out his knife again, since Evil's whole thing is killing quote-unquote naughty girls. Repressed freak. Again, the movie really makes you feel sorry for the potential victim, so it's a happy
I don't know. Her acting was too bad to really feel anything for her.
We get the slasher standard of a girl running with poor form through the woods, and we, the audience, is all but certain that this poor girl is going to be the next one on the kill count. But then those drunken partiers point some police in the right direction, and they deliver her from Evil, calling out to him and scaring him off, giving us an unexpected rescue for the girl. Looks like you missed a deadline, Evil. Clayton announces to Blaze's party that the doors are now closed, and nobody will be readmitted if they leave. A decision Blaze slurs her disagreement with.
I mean, don't we have enough trouble out scaring all the guests?
But no use arguing, Blaze. That plan of action came from Dr. Reed, a consulting psychologist who appeared out of nowhere, and since this is a horror movie from 1980, he's got a lot of pseudoscience mumbo-jumbo that he delivers like he's William Shatner filling in for Tom Brokaw.
He's mutilated the breasts of most of his women. That's a common characteristic of a psychopathic killer who has a mother fixation.
Then to weird it up even more, we've got
think?
Eric creeping around backstage, looking like a serial killer who's obsessed with emo. I don't know what's going on with that dude, but I am here for it. Evil arrives at the party and
Random.
the police aren't letting anyone in, so he
That's
starts
the sun in a nutshell.
to infiltrate the premises. I bet it will involve some cool Mission Impossible style gadgets and a whole Ocean's 11 type plan with, oh no, it's a brick, just a brick to the head of this police officer. I guess that works too. By the way, I also want to count this guy as a kill, but later he's reportedly found knocked cold by other cops.
They just found one of my guys knocked cold out in the garage.
Learn to follow through, Evil. Still at 4. Evil puts on the dude's cop uniform and walks right the fuck in, since apparently the other cop there doesn't know the people he's working with. That's why you don't sit out on company picnics, dude. Get to know your co-workers. This other cop, Sergeant Green, accompanies Blaze to her room where he almost opens fire on Derek, who's lying on the bed, probably thinking naughty things about his mom. She apologizes for almost getting him shot.
Derek, I'm sorry. I forgot you were here. Haven't you always?
Oh, I guess that's why they call you Blaze, because you just got burnt. Derek huffs and puffs his way out of there, and instead of chasing after her son, Diane just asks Green to step outside so she can change into her next horrid outfit for the show. While she's getting ready, Evil pops out of the bathroom in a bleached out Stan Laurel mask that, try as I might, I could not find for sale online. He scares her in the mirror, but when he takes off the mask, the big twist is revealed.
Richard, you scared me. God.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep, turns out the $6 million murderer is her husband Richard, who was name dropped 5 minutes into the movie. He checks in with Green, who's skeptical of how
semi-decent twist.
Richard slips an excuse, saying Ernie the agent okayed it. It doesn't fly with Green, so he radios other cops to tell them something's rotten in the city of Los Angeles. While he does that, Richard finally gets around to some Mission Impossible shit and hooks up some wires to monitor an elevator, I guess? So when Diane and Green are taking it a little later, having a banal conversation about his family, Richard is able to use a camera inside to watch them and also somehow hijack the elevator with about as much difficulty as it takes to jumpstart a car. He sends the elevator down a bunch of floors to crash at the bottom and knock them out. Then he extra knocks out Green with a kick. He drags Green out of the elevator and wakes up Diane to tell her that he's evil, delivering the revelation by playing his recording of the nurse murder.
That's right. I'm evil.
Pretty matter-of-fact delivery there, which is fine. But what's not fine is the most boring final act conversation I've ever had to watch in a slasher. Richard talks about his motivation, which is basically just, misogyny.
Ladies are not very nice people. They are manipulative. And deceitful. And immoral. And very, very selfish.
His 20
Fucking broads.
for almost an entire 5 minutes. And if you don't think that's a long time, then just think about how many videos you've stopped watching on YouTube 1 minute in because it was boring bullshit. Also, thank you for watching my long-ass videos. Richard holds Diane at knife point and then ties her up with a chain attached to the bottom of the elevator. Then he delivers a one-liner that he probably practiced a whole bunch of times in front of a mirror.
Enjoy your going away party. Get smashed.
Cool, dude. He gets back to his wires and starts the
This is a great scene.
Diane all the way up and all the way down. When she gets to the top, Diane sees Yvonne's body because remember, she's a character. Although, you know, not really. Then some more hot wiring sends Diane back down. But what's that sound, Richard? Could it be the cops finally catching on? It is. Clayton and the other cops run in and they all have a lame-ass shootout. Their stray bullets happen to hit Richard's electronical doodads, which happen to stop the murder elevator. So great, that worked out, I guess. Richard books it up the stairs and the cops give chase until Richard is all the way up on the roof where he dons his goofy mask again. Looks like the jig is up, homie. Nothing left to do, huh?
Die to sleep. No more.
Well, except, I guess, to quote Hamlet and jump off the fucking building. Yep, Richard kills himself.
Geronimo!
He's flat. He's just falling, and then
I thought there'd be more bodies.
Because who doesn't want to look at a dead body? Derek definitely does. He takes the mask off his dead dad and cuddles up next to the corpse until a cop pulls him off. Diane is carted out on a stretcher into an ambulance, and the paramedic in the back tells the driver to get going. It turns out the driver is Derek in his dad's mask, and on the floor of the passenger seat is the final victim of the movie, the paramedic murdered in an unknown way by Derek. And who would have guessed? He always seemed like such a well-adjusted boy.
Yeah,
paramedic looks like John Carpenter.
2017 on this channel. But don't click away yet, all you New Year's babies, because you know we've got some numbers to do.
I should have brought one of
Happy
those.
New Year!
Okay.
Only 6 people died in New Year's Evil, meaning this is the way our year ends. Not with a bang, but a whimper. The victims consisted of 4 women and 2 men, giving us our 4th movie in a row with more female victims. Interesting. With a runtime of 86 minutes, we wound up with a kill on average every 14.33 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Sally, just because of how long it went on for and how bad it made me feel for the victim. She was a nice girl, Richard. Almost any latest kill would be that paramedic whose body we just see lying there on the floor of the car. How Derek even managed that kill with all those people looking at it? And that's it. New Year's Evil was released in 1980 and was the only New Year's horror film I could find, so who knows what I'll do a year from now. Next
Terror
week,
Train.
new schedule with a Monday release of the movie over 40,000 of you voted for me to cover, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Until then, I'm James H. Neese. This has been the Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching my Kill Count for New Year's Evil. I want to thank some of my patrons like Jonathan Fitz, Rob Mars, Scott Young, and Peter Icono. Guys, thank you for what is
Gotta
possibly
give
the best
shout out to
year
the
of my life,
patrons.
2017. The success that you guys have brought this channel is just something I will never forget. Leave a comment with your favorite Kill Count episode of the year and why. I'll be really happy to read it. I'll have a January scheduled video out for you in a couple of days. Happy New Year.
Huh?
I'll give James this. He does come off as sincere at the end.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was a really polished style. I like the stats. Yeah, that was a good angle there.
He goes through the film pretty smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's clear he's not the biggest fan of it.
Oh, sure.
And
But that could be more of the movie itself, so.
possibly. I've seen New Year's Evil, and yeah, the kill count is not that high. But I do think it was I'm not saying it's great, but it is a very well-made, suspenseful movie.
Mm-hmm.
The twist of the killer, who he is pretty
It's
cool.
a little bit of a twist, yeah.
And I also think it's interesting how we have a slasher film where the killer is not masked for the majority.
Right, only a little bit.
Yeah, we see what he fully looks like almost all the time. Yes, the stuff with the sun is very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To say the least.
In my review, after showing some of the Oedipal shit, I played a clip from Analyze This of Robert De Niro going, "What are you saying? I wanted to fuck my mother? Have you seen my mother?" And Billy Crystal's like, "It's Freud." Well, and Freud's a sick fuck, and so are you for bringing it up. And I feel like the stuff with the sun, it isn't completely terrible, but it doesn't match up to the rest of the movie.
Not at all. It doesn't match until the end, where him carrying on his dad's legacy, I guess, makes sense.
Yeah.
And maybe they're just setting up the mental illness. But yeah, it was like on 2 different parallel tracks there.
Yeah, like, what movie are we doing? Make them their own things, don't put them together.
Right.
And even though it wasn't too graphic, the kill that made me flinch the most was when he stabbed the nurse with the switchblade.
Okay, so that would have been your top kill?
Yeah.
Oh, and I obviously haven't seen the whole movie, so I'm not sure, but maybe the dumpster one for me, just because she was such a dislikable character.
Yeah.
But
And even though there's no one that dies in this scene, my favorite scene would have to be the elevator ride.
the elevator
down.
was pretty creative.
Seeing her terrified for her life, and occasionally, he didn't show it here, but occasionally in the movie we cut to the inside where we see this couple sitting there as it goes up and down, and they're like, what the shit? And they keep hitting the help button.
Yeah, yeah. No, that was a pretty good scene.
And last thing I'll say is, I forget his name, I'll put it down here. The guy who plays the killer does a masterful job because the guy has to put on 3 or 4 different personalities because he's putting on all the disguises.
Yeah.
He masters all of them along with the genuine personality. The scene where he goes on the misogyny rant is the only weak part of the film. Like, it's not the most fleshed out reason.
Yeah, the motive there is weak.
But he does a great job, and Roz Kelly, she made a pretty hot DJ, and even though she could be a little bitchy at times, you could really get behind her, and she was just cool in her hosting of the New Year's party.
Definitely feel the 80s in there.
Or the tail end of the 70s as they went into the 80s.
Yeah.
So, that was our final reaction video of 2022. Here's hoping 2023 is just as productive of a year, and
nowadays you never know what you're gonna get.
Hopefully your job doesn't have any more unpleasant surprises come up.
Like I said, you never know what you're gonna get.
And we will see you again very soon.
All right, enjoy.
Good for me.